Hello everyone and welcome to the Go Setups VIP trophy hosted at pitskill.io. I'm your host Roy Waller, and tonight we are at a dark and wet Kyalami for our season finale as our drivers get themselves through their first flying laps of qualifying. We can take a brief moment to take a look at our championship standings, where Manuel Benz has already taken the championship, but behind him it is still all to play for, with Cam Carter and Tadeusz Zinski separated by just 29 points over P2. It's not quite as close as it has been, but still certainly not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination. And then in the battle for P4 is Roland Stricker, Busso and Balazs, all exceedingly close together as well. Down battling over P7 we have got Hergé Fredriksson, Thomas Perello, and a little way behind Jeremy Thomas. And as we head back on over to our on-track action, a surprise provisional pole sitter of Joe Wilson, with Manuel Benz down in a lowly third place. I expect we'll see the that red number 33 car moving up the order relatively soon. But for Joe Wilson and Sergei Sebastian, I think they'll be enjoying their position on the timing sheets while they can stay there. Though, as we saw last round out at Watkins Glen, when the rain did come down, pace did fall away from Manuel Benz and went in the favour of Sergei Sebastian. So, with it so dark, wet and cold, it's a chance for other drivers to show what they're made of. As keep with Manuel Benz for a little while longer. He's going faster, but this isn't going to set the world alight. Well, should I say that? I think he must have made a mistake in the final couple of corners on his previous lap. Just comes around the final corner, 6/10 up on his previous best, and yep, that is a 1:47.2 for Manuel Benz, and launches himself to the top of the timing sheet, where he will want to remain for the rest of this session. As we check in with some of our other drivers. Hergé Fredriksson. Someone told me I pronounced his name wrong last race, and it's going to bother me now for the rest of the season. It didn't bother me enough for me to actually go and look up how to pronounce it, so yeah, apologies for that. As Manuel Benz going even faster now on this lap, getting a taste for these conditions. I expect we're going to see some real solid pace coming from Benz as the session progresses. Fredriksson currently sitting on a 47.287, only 800ths away from Benz. That's a solid lap from our Lamborghini driver. As Sam McCarthy rounding the final couple of corners. So it's looking especially slippery out there. McCarthy keeping it within track limits, but using an awful lot of the curb there, that in these conditions going to be slippery, hard to put down the traction. There's our sole Honda out on the track, giving some love to the VTEC, and well, the auxiliary lights he's running there, making it look like it's got a mouth. That car looking quite creepy. But Svoboda finding some pace. And, well, not finding pace out there in the gravel. So we'll come back to Svoboda later. looking like he's got some time to find. Oh, I think Andy, that was the rare spectator's curse there. Oh, as Jeremy Thomas off into the gravel, and won't be finding any more pace doing that. As Sergi Sebastian going stride, though I think we did just see him hopping on over the curb. So potentially losing some pace in this lap, but I think as well, with the rain dying down a little bit in the next 10 minutes, we could see the track conditions improve. So this might be a case of who can be out at the end to get those late laps in on a drying track. As Sergi Sebastian flying at the moment, but not flying as well as Roland Schricker, who puts himself on the top of the timing tower. But Sergi Sebastian coming to cross the line now has found a whole heap of time. Sergi Sebastian with a 1:46.972. First driver into the 46s. And puts himself on top of the running so far. Taking a glance further down the running order, the number 22 car of Gregor Michalak, rounding the final corner. Oh yeah, this is going to be an absolute nightmare to commentate on. Night races are atrocious in ACC for visibility, and must say, yeah, I feel for you in the commentary box as well. As yeah, going to be very difficult to not commentary in the stewarding room. Yeah, will be very challenging to adjudicate with this poor visibility. Yeah, do give our love to Andy and to Casper, who I believe are in the stewards room tonight. So if there are any penalties you disagree with as well, go shout at them. Whoa, as Tadeusz Zazinski facing backwards, and well, that's not going to see him going any faster. As Florent de Moor finding a whole heap of time on this lap. Jumping him up from P24 to P14. Great improvement there. And another driver looking for a good improvement is a driver who was a Honda mainstreamer, now in the Ferrari. And just a final corner to go for Scholl, staying well off of that entry curb. And as he comes across the line, it should be a sizable improvement to move up to P9 for Scholl. So plenty of pace to be found out there. The rain still coming down heavily at the moment. Track conditions still being reported as wet. No surprise there. But finally starting to see some faster times coming from Manuel Benz as he comes into the final sector of the racetrack. Ben's finding a whole bunch of time, and Sergi Sebastian is gonna have to, I think, find a bit more pace. because here comes Benz with 1 corner to go. This is going to be one hell of a lap. And Benz crosses the line for 1:46.740. And well, we are getting closer to that 1:46.5 that was asked for in chat. And just going to wait to see when that decrease in the rain starts to come. Already looking like there is less rain falling on the track. I think the indicator of how much rain there is going to come from... well, I mean, that still looks pretty damn wet, doesn't it? That's a lot of rain. Those wipers are doing a lot of work as the camera struggles to find the rapid car of Joe Wilson on the blinkers, trying to get the cars in front of him out of the way as they come through the second to last corner. And actually, surprise joiner to the VIP trophy. I don't think we've seen this driver here before, but joining in from Porsche Cup races is our championship contender from the past couple of seasons, Johan Leff. Good to see him here, sticking with his Porsche, but this time benefiting from a little bit of traction control. And, well, showing his pace that he's shown us in the Porsche Cup, currently sitting P5. Sergio Sebastian, with 1 corner to go in this lap, is trying to take the fight to Manuel Benz. Just 2.5 hundredths of a second separate our top 2 drivers. And well, with the rain threatening to lessen in the next couple of minutes, I'm sure we're going to start to see these times tumble. As the cars ahead try and navigate some traffic, negotiating their way through. Svoboda catching onto the back of this quite rapidly. It's finding plenty of time on this lap. Going to benefit from a little bit of a tow down the back straight. I say back straight, it's not really much of a straight, but you do still benefit from a little bit of a tow as Jeremy Thomas getting well off the circuit, allowing Svoboda through. And with 1 corner to go for Svoboda. And Svoboda crosses the line. A humongous improvement up to P4. And doing the Honda VTEC proud. It's Svoboda, a tricky car to drive, a spicy rear end at the best of times. Svoboda really taming that beast to get it through in these tough conditions in P4. As Fredriksson cresting the hill, he's got a Ferrari just ahead of him, should give him a little bit of a slipstream as they descend down into barbecue. Yeah, that's barbecue. You know what, before the race starts, I'm going to get a track map up so I can remember the names of these damn corners. And as Fredriksson comes across the line, well, okay, I looked away for a little too long there as Fredriksson down 2.5 seconds on his previous best. Thomas Pirello, a driver down in P18 at the moment. Usually see Pirello slightly higher up on the timings. Lamborghini, not a car famous for its wet weather performance, but as we've seen Fredriksson up in P7. We know it has got the pace in it to be up there. So let's see what Pirello can do as they come to cross the line. And it's a 147.830. Now here we go. The times are beginning to tumble, and I think we might get that first lap in below the 46.5s. As we've got a 1 minute 46.485 for Sergi Sebastian. 1.3 tenths clear of Manuel Benz, who has got this lap that he's currently on to respond to Sebastian. I'm not sure if he's aware of the gauntlet that has just been thrown down by Sebastian. There's Joe Wilson rounding the final corners now. Well, this is going to be close to where... No, he's not going to... Certainly not going to get another lap from where he's running at the moment. But this is going to be it for Joe Wilson. Keeping it tidy for now. Finding some pace. On the loud pedal down towards start-finish line as he crosses the line for a 146.9. Joins Sebastian and Benz in that 146 club. As Manuel Benz pushing for his life and, well, finds the gravel. Will not be besting Sergi Sebastian. That's to settle for P2 on the grid. Svoboda looking to improve, but just losing out. As we hop around and see who else is looking to improve. Bjorn King. One corner to go for the 540 Ferrari. And should be a decent improvement there, up to P17 for King. With just one improver left out on the track, and that is this man, Fredriksson. Looking for that last minute improvement in pace. As he comes around the final corner to cross the line, should be a decent improvement for Fredriksson. Up to P4, 147.1. And there we have it. Qualifying over. And on pole position tonight, we will have Sergi Sebastian, who, after last round, taking away the win from Manuel Benz, this time snatching away pole position. Sergi Sebastian having a very, very good end to this season 19 of the Go Setups VIP trophy. And alongside him on the grid will be Manuel Benz, as they will race down together to turn one, the treacherous turn one here at Kyalami. In P3 we have got Joe Wilson. In the third Ferrari. An all-Ferrari top three on our grid. First non-Ferrari is Fredriksson in the Lamborghini. Very strong finish to the session for him. And in P5, Roland Stricker in the BMW. And in P6, we've got the Honda of Svoboda. In P7, the Mercedes of Busso, with the Porsche of Sam McCarthy in P8. Newcomer to the VIP trophy and Porsche Cup veteran Johan Leff in P9. Good strong start for him, with Manuel Antrax in the Ferrari in P10. Cam Carter, who's in that battle for P2 in the championship, currently qualified in P11, some 5 positions ahead of his P2 rival, or P3 rival I should say, Tadeusz Zazinski. So holds a good advantage both in point and race start position as we come into this final round. Rainer Scholl is in P12. Behind them will be Thomas Perello and Balazs Fehi, with Jeremy Thomas and Tadeusz Zazinski behind. John King next to Florent Demore, and Luke Tranmer next to Felix Kotek. Then we have got the 2 Ferraris of Gregor Michalak and Daniel Szerzak. And then Kenny Kroes and Matthias Helzer, both in the Porsche. And then Tiller Nemeth and Paul Cook, with the patrol car of Steve Goosens in P27, alongside fan favourite Chris Wright. P28 is his starting position for tonight's race. I know, right? I need to get some sort of AI algorithm to get rid of the Coach Dave Academy adverts in the game. Don't buy your setups from Coach Dave Academy. Instead, go to Go Setups. There you go. Undone all the good work that Coach Dave Academy did by buying those sponsorships in game. And in P29, we've got Karol Piotrowski alongside Nitro. P31 is Alan Milne, with Brandon Marr in P32. And then at the back of the grid, sporting the Lightning Bottle livery, having been disqualified from qualifying, bringing shame to the Lightning Bottle name, is Christopher Elberg. We turn our attention back to the front of the field as Sergi Sebastian leads round the grid for tonight's race. We'll be grateful that the car alongside him is also a Ferrari, and thus suffering from humongous amounts of turbo lag off the line. And the driver who I think is going to be under most pressure on this race start is going to be Joe Wilson, who is going to have the V10 power of the Lamborghini bearing down on him in the run down to turn 1. And Joe Wilson's going to have to defend that inside line hard. And as our pack rounds final few corners of this racetrack, they line up 2 by 2. As a reminder for everyone watching, it is Sergi Sebastian in pole position, followed by Manuel Benz, Joe Wilson, Fredrickson, Stricker, Svoboda, Busso, McCarthy, Left, and Antrax are your top 10. And as we come around the final corner and wait for the green flag, it's a long run down to the flag, so it does mean that all of our drivers should hopefully get through that slow final corner before our race starts. You see the lights go green, and it's a good start from Sebastian. Keeps his nose ahead of Benz as they head down towards the first corner. You can already see the power of the Lamborghini getting Fredriksson ahead of Wilson, and looks like there's contact between Wilson and Benz. Benz down into P4 in this race. Stewart's going to want to look at that one, and then we have got McCarthy up into P5. You'll have to watch again to see how that happened as they all fan through the third corner behind the long run down. So far looking like everyone doing all right for the moment. We've got a few changes of position, and a yellow flag out for Zaboda as he goes spinning. Number of cars off the circuit at the moment, so apologies to all of you Honda fans. The one Honda in this race is dropping like a stone down the order, currently down in P32. So far, Sergi Sebastian with the plum start for tonight's race, holding on to that lead, and we'll be grateful that car behind him now is Joe Wilson. Can sigh a little bit of relief knowing that he's got a somewhat of a pace advantage over Wilson, as Manuel Benz is going to have to battle his way back through. And Kel Sapri, everyone, look who it is at the front of a train, and are sporting the right livery for it as well. Maximum respect to the man in the well, actually I don't know what livery this is, the LNER class A4 4468 Mallard, oh for God's sake, aka the world's fastest steam locomotive. That, and actually if we take a look at, I'm just going to have to burst his bubble here. Can we see that speedo at the front of this Audi? We can't really, can we? But I'm pretty sure this Audi does go faster than 203 kilometers per hour. If he didn't, he would be well and truly done on these straights. Right, Balazs here doing what he does best and holding up a train, as we have had absolute calamity for Joe Wilson. What's happened here? I notice him further down the order, coming into turn one. Doesn't look like it was a revenge killing from Manuel Benz. Ooh, already snapping under braking, and there goes Joe Wilson backwards off the outside of turn 3, and that's seen him drop all the way down to P13. Bad news there for Joe Wilson, who now trying to claw his way back up the order, and Joe Wilson also picking up a 15-second penalty for his troubles for that first lap incident with Manuel Benz. The train behind him getting split up slightly, I think, by the spinning Joe Wilson. And now it's Thomas who leads the largest of our trains. The cars close behind, battling hard, as you see a number of them disappearing off into the distance. As Fredriksson has got Manuel Benz for close company. So you come around the first corner. Plenty of battling going on up and down our field, as Balazs here has got the BMW of Roland Stricker. BMW, strong car in these mixed conditions, and Stricker looking for a way through. And well, I've done something I don't usually do in these races. I've looked at the weather forecast, and looking at the weather forecast, things are looking interesting, as seems like in the next half hour we will have a stop in this rain. And I wonder, those out there, have they done the new ACC exploit of running maximum pressures on their wet tyres? I know for certain that Sergio Sebastian will have, because he won't stop talking about that particular exploit. But whether the rest of them know about it remains to be seen. As we've got some battling going on further down our order, as Luke Trammer, currently running P16, is being followed by a whole heap of cars. It's Bjorn King getting well off on the inside of the circuit there, struggling for the grip through the dip, as Christopher Elberg making moves, making up positions up into P23, as I had a strong start to the race, up to P22 now with the spin of Nemeth. They come down the start-finish straight to start a new lap. Just ahead of them, Antrax holding up well, not holding up, but racing ahead of, I should say, a whole bunch of cars, as he has got Johan Leff for company, looking up his inside. Oh, is that slight contact there? As we saw Johan Leff going very sideways. They come around into the second sector. Oh no, I thought there was contact, but no, Johan Leff just going for a big old Tokyo drift. And that has allowed Rainer Scholl to have a look in. Joe Wilson also getting involved in this action. It's a three-way battle now over P10 in this race. We're pointing out to anyone who is new to the Pitskill, the Go Setups VIP trophy, that we do score points down most of the positions. I think with only 33 drivers in tonight's race, I think everyone has the potential to score points as long as they finish the race. So we come around onto another lap. And looking like we're going to see an end to this rain very shortly. Track's still wet for now, as Johan Leff makes his way by Antrax up into P9. As Joe Wilson and Rainer Scholl battle hard side by side through sunset. Joe Wilson having to stay in behind for now, as Rainer Scholl gets out wide onto the grass. Joe Wilson looking up the inside again into the chicane. He's going to have a better run through the exit, and Joe Wilson, magnificent battling that, gets himself up into P11 now, as Jeremy Thomas dropping back to P15 after going off the circuit at the chicane. As this adverse weather conditions keeping these cars close in the middle of the pack. As we look down our order, looks like both Tadeusz Szynski and Thomas Pirello have taken an early trip through pit lane, as we've got yellow flags out for the 540 car of Bjorn King, who goes for the spin turn in the runoff and looks to get back on the circuit at a safer position. As Joe Wilson looking to start to pull away from this pack behind. We saw he had the pace to qualify P3 for this race, but a couple of early race incidents have sort of undone those efforts. Now down in P10 and carrying a 15-second penalty. Balazs Fahey and Cam Carter going side by side, and in the end a fairly straightforward move for Carter. Let's see if we can get that one from another angle. Side by side through sunset as Fahey goes deep into Clubhouse Corner, and that is what allowed Cam Carter to come through on the inside and up into P8. As Balazs Fahey now finds himself at the back of a train. Actually now back in front of behind Cam Carter. Timing Tower was just getting confused. He is quite considerably behind Cam Carter. Side by side into... What is this? The Crocodiles? Yes, it is. Goes Shull and Antrax. Shull staying ahead. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was Rain and Shull. Wait, Rain and Shull is past Antrax. My timing tower is completely screwed. Give me a second. There we go. Yes, Rain and Shull up past Antrax, and now Matthias Peltzer closing in on Antrax as well. Antrax struggling. Jeremy Thomas into pit road. I wonder, the drivers who have pit this early on, I can't imagine they'll be going on to slick tyres. But with the track conditions changing and looking like it's going to stay dry for at least the next half an hour, it'll be interesting to see what tyres has Jeremy Thomas gone on to. Andy Hudson, if you're watching, if you wouldn't mind being our pit lane reporter and checking what tyres are those cars which have already pitted, what tyres are they running? As Nitro attempts to hold off Nemeth and King, P27 in this race. A very close battle down here. These three relatively on their own, concentrate on their own little battle. As looks like Nemeth going very deep into the corner there. Could present an opportunity to King, who tries to slip one through on the inside, but not close enough at the moment. Slots back in behind, but that gap between Nemeth and Nitro has opened up somewhat. Rainer Schott currently running P11 in this race, ahead of Antrax, Peltzer, Kotick, Tranmere, Crows and Michalak. That train you can see tailing off into the distance. Steve Goosens has got the Ferraris of Chris Wright and Cherzak. Sorry, apologies for what was undoubtedly an absolute butcher of your name. But close company, couple of Ferraris and that patrol car. I think it's got the Interceptor badges on it, but it has just been intercepted and passed by our two pale blue Ferraris who head off into the distance. Balazs Fahey here, back in his favoured habitat of leading a train, now ahead of Johan Leff and Joe Wilson. It's looking like the the pace disparity between Balazs and Lef slightly, sorry, I should say not the disparity, the balance of pace slightly different here between Fahir and Lef in these GT3 cars, where we see Lef so dominant in the Porsche Cups, up there with usually with the race leaders. Now they're back in the GT3 machinery. Balazs Fahir showing what he's made of. Left looks to the inside. As they come through Sunset into Clubhouse. Balazs Fahir running just a little bit wide by the looks of things, as the rain has now officially stopped. Woohoo! But you wouldn't believe it looking at how slippery Balazs Fahir is finding it. And if we go on board with Johan Lef, yep, we can see now no rain on that windscreen. And, well, the conditions will only get drier from here. And I think we're going to see very soon a whole flood of drivers heading into the pit lane. Although I wonder if some of our more cautious drivers might just wait until the race hits its 30-minute mark. Oop, as there's a little bit of contact there, I think, between Antrax and Peltzer. Well, maybe that was deceiving, because they are quite far apart now. But yeah, the weather forecast in ACC does only show for the next 30 minutes. So if those drivers want certainty that they're going on to the right tyres, they might just wait another 13 minutes as Joe Wilson gets himself up past Johan Lef. Joe Wilson, after those early race incidents, charging his way forward, now up into P8. We'll see him dropping further back when he serves that pit lane penalty. We'll have to stop for an extra 15 seconds more than anyone else. As Matthias Peltzer has made his way past Manuel Antrax up into P12, followed very closely behind now by Antrax, Kotick and Tranmere, as they all snake their way through the second sector. Matthias Peltzer doing well in these race conditions. And, well, really one of the big winners from the start of this race. Qualified P24. Currently running now in P12. Is absolutely shot up the order. And is looking to charge on forwards. So we'll keep an eye on Peltzer and see how he does through the rest of this race, because showing some really good race pace out there. And another driver who's been doing well, of course, is Christopher Elberg, who's currently now running ahead of Shazak and Wright. And had that pit lane start, but now running P20. As we've got yellow flags out for Nemeth and Nitro. What happened with this pair? As Nemeth goes for the attack up the inside. Oh, and contact between the two of them as Svoboda gets involved in that one as well. I think all a little bit unfortunate, as I think Nemeth just allowing Nitro back through. So, honourable thing there. As, fortunately, don't think the stewards will necessarily take that into account, but it's the honourable thing to do. And we're all here to have fun, so does pay to be nice. Especially as you are racing against each other day after day here at Pitskill. Not only does Pitskill.io run these weekly league races, they also run match-made daily races over on their sim racing platform, so do go check them out using the referral link in the description below. As Felix Kotick now with Luke Tranmer in close proximity as they head down towards the crocodiles. They come through the final corner. Luke Tranmer cutting a tighter line. Could be a good run here for Tranmer. Also has Kenny Crows close up behind. It's looking like it's actually Kenny Crows with the better run here. As Tranmer having to go defensive to the inside. Needs to be careful not to outbrake himself with the BMW of Kotick so close. As we've got drive-through penalty out for Szerzak. Not sure if that was come from the stewards or from track limits violations, but either way that's going to be costly for his race. As he emerges from the other side of that, still with a 10-second penalty to serve, so race not going well for Szerzak. As Kenny Crows has got Gregor Michalak, a driver who's been coming on leaps and bounds through these past couple of seasons with Pitskill. He's really developing some good pace. Remember, started out a couple of seasons ago actually running the out-of-date 488 and doing okay in that, but now in constant battles almost every race now, and really must say gonna have to take the award of a most improved driver, I think, from the Pitskill is Gregor Michalak. Welcome back, Andy, from what I can only imagine was an extremely busy first half of this race in looking at those penalties. Yeah, I think yeah, shows that did serve his penalty because he was up near Elberg and right before, so yeah, did run through the pits and emerge further back. And now you're back, Andy. Can you please go and have a look and see what tyres those who have pitted already are running? So that'd be the likes of Szerzak, Thomas, Pirello and Szynski. Because I do wonder if they have made a catastrophic, I should say, strategic blunder. Because they did pit while it was still raining. And with our track conditions still wet at the moment, don't think it's going to be drying out for a while with our track temperature at 11 degrees. But with 33 cars driving all over it, it's only a matter of time before this track starts to dry out. As we climb the hill again, Matthias Peltzer ahead of Antrax, Kotick and Tranmer. Some real close battling here tonight. This final round of the Go Setups VIP trophy hosted on pitskill.io. As looks like Kotick and Tranmer side by side. Actually, Kotick and Antrax is Kotick getting through up into P13. As our pit lane reporter Andy Hudson has not been eating enough carrots and cannot tell what tyres people have on. But thank you for checking anyway. Yeah, it is. It's hard to see much in these nighttime conditions. As Kotick in that BMW, which is so strong in changeable conditions, I wonder if we're going to see the race come towards him a little bit as the track starts to dry out, running on those wet tyres on a drying track. Though that said, again, reminder to everyone, any cars running that new ACC exploit will have an advantage over those who are not aware. So if we see anyone putting in silly lap times, we'll know what they're doing. There's Luke Tranmer looking all over the back of Antrax. This is the battle for P13 in the race. And you can see drivers that I'm not sure either looking for the wet part of the track or just driving different lines, or maybe just looking to get some sort of braking reference out of the line directly behind the car in front. Obviously, with it being wet and dark, very hard to spot your braking references sometimes, and the last thing you want to be doing is charging into the back of the car behind you. As Chris Wright and Christopher Elberg do battle. It's the battle of the Chris's in P19. As well, Christopher Elberg not keeping it on the circuit. And that is Chris Wright up into P19. But now, with the track drying out, are things coming the way of Manuel Benz, as he now finds himself within 0.7 seconds of Sergi Sebastian in the lead of this race. With the track not drying out as quick as maybe we would have thought, still reported as wet, with that track temperature still sitting at 11 degrees. Will be hard to shift that standing water off of the racing circuit. And so far, I think with it staying wet, not seen that many drivers come in to take their mandatory change of tyres. Again, another thing to point out to any drivers who are new to Pitskill, new to this VIP trophy. It is a mandatory pit stop for all drivers, mandatory tyre change, but no refueling allowed. So all these drivers are going to be running a full complement of fuel from lights to flag, and does mean that the optimal strategy is to change tyres right at the midway point if it's a dry race, but with these changeable conditions, a lot more prominence is going to be given to the driver to make the decision. And was that a small mistake there from Sergi Sebastian, running slightly wide? Manuel Benz closes that gap to 0.6 seconds. Not too costly a mistake from Sergi. And it was good to have another battle for the lead here in the Go Setups VIP trophy. And, Sergi Sebastian going to be feeling that pressure from Manuel Benz for quite considerably longer than he did last round out. As Matthias Peltzer still has Felix Kosick, Manuel Antrax and Luke Tranmer for close company. We come down through the mine shaft and into the crocodiles. Luke Tranmer all over the back of Antrax at the moment. Whoa! Luke Tranmer very, very sideways. As we come into the crocodiles. And, I think Luke Tranmer sort of turned into a passenger of his own car there, as it braking on the still wet curbing. Perhaps taking too much confidence from the lack of rain coming down, not quite realising how wet this track surface still is. Not much grip out there at all for our drivers. As Laurent de Moore has made his way past Chris Wright. Bold move into the first corner. Gets himself nicely alongside, holds the inside line, sweeps across the front of Chris Wright, and that is a great move there from Laurent de Moore. As now Christopher Elberg has made his way past Chris Wright. Oh, he's already ahead of him through the fourth corner. So well, Chris Wright just losing 2 positions in almost as many corners. Closer to the front, Busso being chased by Roland Schricker. Track conditions still wet at the moment as we're just past the halfway point of this race. 29 minutes of this session remaining. And that does mean that looking at our weather forecast, it is going to stay dry to the end. So now it's just a question of, well, at least the weather will stay dry to the end. When will the track start to dry out? Because at the moment we have been sans rain for about the last 11, 12 minutes and still very wet track conditions. As Manuel Benz has caught right up behind Sergi Sebastian. And is the complexion of this race starting to change? As last lap round was the fastest lap of the race. We have seen from Manuel Benz 1:45.690. That lap time faster than any lap we saw in qualifying from any of our drivers. This track is drying out slowly but surely. You can see that dry line beginning to appear. Definitely not going to be any sort of conditions for slick tyres. As we've got yellow flags out for here and Charles. Let's see what has happened there. Oh, there's been a derailment there. But they managed to both get on their way. And, well, hello in chat to Joe Wilson, but not nice to see you in the chat so early on. Yeah, unfortunate lap 1 for you there, sir. And, well, sad to see you here spectating so early on your Wednesday evening. Sergi Sebastian still holding on in front of Manuel Benz. Track conditions still very, very wet. But Manuel Benz is closing that gap down and is now well into the slipstream. For Sergi Sebastian, as we come down the start-finish straight, the 20th time of asking. And this battle, I think, is going to rage on for quite a while. And we know that once the track dries out, as we see the conditions tick over to damp, the pace will start to come to Manuel Benz, a driver who is very, very strong in the boring, dry conditions. As the Porsche in front, I think that of Nitro getting a little bit twitchy there. I think that's going to send some nerves the way of Sergio Sebastian as Nitro bails right out of the way. Well, I think he may have ended up somewhere in Central Africa so far off the racing line. Did Nitro go? So far, Sergio Sebastian holding on well. Now, Sam McCarthy, who's had quite a quiet race so far, up 4 positions from his starting position and has just been running quite calmly in P4, has now got Busso and Schricker bearing down on him as the track begins to dry. Sam McCarthy is finding himself under a little bit of pressure here. And talking of pressure, Lashfay with a 4-car train behind him now. Being chased by Scholl, Peltzer and Kotick. This for P9 in the race. And Scholl right up behind him. And looks like Antrax catching on to the back of this battle as well. So now we're starting to see some more drivers peel off into the pit lane. Track conditions still damp, so I think that does still favour the wet tyre for now. As Christopher Elberg still battling with Chris Wright. Well, I'm sure by the end of this race we will have an answer to who is the faster Chris. But as of yet, inconclusive. As Blaž Feher and Rainer Scholl go side by side. Blaž Feher will be disappointed. That is not how trains work. They're meant to be one in front of the other. They're not meant to be going side by side. But now Matthias Peltz are trying to get alongside Rainer Scholl as well. This is turning into a 3-way battle directly over P9. And so far, they're all staying in the same position for now. And Manuel Antrax very much in this battle. They snake their way around the final corner. This track drying up. And we're seeing the balance of performance change amongst these cars. More and more drivers peeling off into the pit lane, looking to get off of their wet tyres onto some dries. Sam McCarthy still having a good battle with Busso as well. Battling up and down our race order. We've now just over 20 minutes remaining of this race and still a damp circuit. Whoa, Roland Schricker having a heavy hit with the wall. Was he a victim to the Kyalami salami? No. Kept himself away from the sausage curb and just, I think, just getting a little bit slippery over the track as he came back over to get on the racing line, and that was a heavy clash with the wall. And I wonder if there's some suspension damage there, because that was an easy pass for Luke Tranmere. We're seeing more and more drivers start to head towards that pit lane. Matthias Peltzer looking up the inside of Rainer Schull. Schull giving him the room. Peltzer holding on to position there, but Kotick now right out behind Peltzer. And this is the danger of going for a move when you're in the middle of a train like this. Can very see you go from the attacker to the attacked as you compromise your exit out onto the next straight. And Matthias Peltzer needs to be careful here. As Manuel Antrax removes himself from this train and into the pit lane, we'll be hoping that he can make something of his outlap, find a little bit of pace, and emerge ahead of this train of cars. As Manuel Benz, our champion in waiting, comes into the pit lane with our race leader Sergi Sebastian still out on track, encountering quite heavy traffic ahead of him. I think this is what Manuel Benz was just hoping to avoid, hoping this traffic could slow down Sergi. But with the track still being damp for now, I think Benz will just be hoping that it switches over to a greasy track relatively soon. As now Sam McCarthy being hounded by the bulldozer. Rainer Schull also in the pit lane. And behind this battle, still fighting continuing between Fahir, Charles, Peltzer, and now Manuel Benz, who I think has emerged in what is perhaps the worst part of the race circuit. Now finds himself actually legitimately in a battle with cars that I'm sure he is much faster than, and this really playing into the hands of Sergi Sebastian. No blue flags going to be waved for these cars. They can very legitimately fight with Manuel Benz, and with Scholl now right on the back of Balazs Fahir. I don't think he's going to be willing to dive out the way to let Manuel Benz through, not when he thinks there's a chance that he could make a move on Balazs himself. This could be extremely impactful for our race come the time that Sebastian dives in to make his pit stop. Cam Carter into pit lane now, as we keep watching Manuel Benz as the camera tries to find him. Schultz still battling with Fahir and battling hard, not going to allow Manuel Benz through as Benz tries to force his way through. And Schultz putting up a fight. Is he just going to allow Benz through? Does in the end, and will be tucked into the slipstream. But all of this battle, as you see from the last lap around, Benz's lap 1:51.4. That obviously including the pit stop, I do believe. So if we look at the lap time of Balazs, a 1:47.0, 1:48.3 from Peltzer, and a 1:48.2 from Scholl. And so, Peltzer getting past Scholl. So Scholl losing out there from getting passed by Manuel Benz. But this is terrible for the race of Manuel Benz, who finally throws the one up the inside of Balazs Fahir. But that's going to cost him quite a considerable amount of time battling with these cars in the mid-pack as Balazs Fahir fights back. And, I'm sure no collusion there between Sebastian and Fahir, but that has allowed Matthias Peltzer to try and pull alongside. And that battling with Benz, well, that may have helped Sebastian, but it hasn't helped Fahey, who now finds himself under attack from Matthias Peltzer, who looks to the outside into the crocodiles. Will he be able to carry the speed through? Will have the outside line, but be behind into the second to last corner. But now we'll have the inside for the final corner. This could be the chance that Matthias Peltzer has been waiting for. Side by side down the start finish straight for the pair of them. Audi power versus Porsche power. And Rainer Scholl looking to pounce on whoever loses out on this battle as well. Peltzer on the inside line. We'll try and cut across. Holding position in front of Balazs Feher, and Matthias Peltzer now up into P7. So that battling with Manuel Benz did not pay off for Balazs Feher. Cost Benz some time, may have helped Sergi Sebastian hold on to the lead of this race, but in doing so has lost himself a position. And well, with the close championship as it stands at the moment, could be costly for Balazs Feher. And now finding himself under pressure from Rainer Scholl. That Ferrari wanting to get by, has been wanting to get by for a good number of laps before. Got passed by Peltzer and now finds himself back up behind the Audi of Feher. And Scholl, a man on a mission. Ooh, close on the brakes, got himself tucked right underneath Balazs Feher. As Sergi Sebastian finally dives into the pit lane. Track still damp at the moment. I'm sure we'll emerge out onto slick tyres. As we keep an eye on see where is Benz. Coming through the, I believe that's the second to last corner. Coming into the final corner now. Sergi Sebastian's on the move again, coming out of the pit lane. Where will Manuel Benz arrive back, or where will Sergi Sebastian arrive back onto the racetrack? He is ahead of Manuel Benz, and quite considerably ahead of Manuel Benz. Some 3.5 seconds ahead. So that has gone very well for Sergi Sebastian, who now has to bring his tyres back up to temperature. This is the opportunity for Manuel Benz to start to catch up while he's on those warmer tyres. Has already started to build his tyre temps, build his tyre pressures. Track's still damp at the moment, so still not optimal for these slick tyres. Going to be hard to bring them into the operating window. As Florent Demour and Cam Carter, well, I was going to say battling hard, Cam Carter just absolutely flew by. Cam Carter and Sam McCarthy, of course, having served their mandatory pit stop. Florent Demour still on his first set of tyres of the race. So still needs to come through and serve a pit stop within the next 11 minutes. I think it was this very circuit, actually, where we did see Manuel Benz lose out to the pit window. Come in a little bit too late before the end of the race and did have to serve a drive-through penalty at the end, which I think in the end got converted into a 90-second penalty. Wasn't great for his race, as Balazs Feher's had a train crash. What has happened here? They're heading into Sunset, very sideways, and a heavy collision with the wall. Doesn't look like it should have done too much damage to the car, but Balazs Feher sitting off circuit for a long time. I think perhaps just assessing his damage. Now down in P21 and has already served his mandatory pit stop. I think just getting caught out on the conditions on those dry tyres. Oh, as yep, having another spin there. I think Balazs Feher, who was doing so well when running on the wet tyres, now struggling with the dries on a damp circuit. And well, I mean, that would have helped him get some tyre temperature in, I guess, but well, certainly not favouring these conditions. The Audi, not the best car when the track and the conditions are slippery, and you marry that up with some dry weather tyres, and well, I think Fahir just now just to settle in, find his feet, and start to build up his race again from where he finds himself down in P21. Cam Carter finds himself in a close battle now with Fredrickson, McCarthy, DeMore, as Cam Carter, I think, just made up 2 positions in a couple of corners. What's happened here? So Cam Carter currently running behind both McCarthy and Fredrickson. He's got a long old replay to show here, but I'm not quite sure what happened. Oh, well, that seems to be what happened. Both Fredrickson and McCarthy started to do a little bit of rallycross off the inside of the S's there. As Florent DeMore close up behind Fredrickson, but of course yet to serve his mandatory pit stop. So not much for him to gain from battling here. As Rainer Scholl losing out a little bit there. Some close battling between Luke Tranmer and Rainer Scholl. As Scholl... Oh, well, Szynski getting past Scholl from the... well, the fact that he completely outbroke himself there for the Crocodiles. That's one way of getting momentarily past the car. So Szynski definitely not doing enough in this race to challenge Cam Carter for P2. So with the drop rounds to be factored in, I think Szynski may perhaps be under pressure for P3 in the championship from Roland Stricker. Currently Stricker running... Oh, well, Stricker currently running P19 actually, so perhaps not any pressure there. Of course, Stricker we did see bounce off into a wall and, well, very nearly there actually bouncing off into another one. So, yeah, Roland Stricker I don't think will be challenging for P3 in the championship. Just a few drivers now left to make their mandatory pit stop. The track being awfully slow in drying out, still damp, and yeah, I think actually still advantageous to be on the wet tyre at the moment. Track temperature not building. We've got yellow flags out for Manuel Benz. I mean, he's not going to be happy of us getting a replay of this one, but get a replay of this we shall. There's a big clout of the curb on the inside of the S's there. And around goes the Ferrari. Around again goes the Ferrari. And, oh, Manuel Benz still holding on to net P2 in the race after that almighty tank slapper. And, well, now, big advantage to Sergi Sebastian with a 11.5 second lead over Manuel Benz. So we have a moment there for, oh, Matthias Peltzer. A big moment there as he spin turns it in the middle of the road. Thomas Perello has got Antrax for company now. You're swapping around somewhat as Florent DeMore, now our only driver yet to serve his mandatory pit stop. We'll need to serve that within the next 4.5 minutes if he doesn't want to pick up another penalty. Oh! Yellow flags out for Kenny Crows. And wow, that was right the spin there. Through Cheetah. And Kenny Crows lucky just... Oh, and now... Oh, yellow flags for Terj Fredriksson. Not sure what that was there. Didn't see the car off the circuit. But now Fredriksson under real pressure from Jeremy Thomas as the two Lamborghinis head through the S's. And Thomas with a great overspeed as we head up towards Leeuwkop into the hairpin. And looks like Fredriksson struggling for grip there, as that was a very, very easy pass for Jeremy Thomas up into P8. Up and down our order. Yep. But Ashfay hit even down in P18. Is still not far away from a fight as he's got Roland Schricker bearing down on him. Just half a second behind. As Fahit cannot catch a break, it would seem. As the weather report is informing us that the sun should be coming out. I think that might be finding that hard at 11:36 p.m. But fair enough, ACC. Fair enough. As, oh, was that Roland Schricker eating a little bit of sausage there, we saw? As Rainer Shaw has made his way past Grzegorz Michalak into the final corner. Is Michalak just going to leave the room here? Yeah, looked like Michalak yielding there and allowing Ferrari of Charles through. Florent Demore still yet to pit, has got 1 minute and 33 seconds left to do so. And we'll keep an eye on him here, because if he forgets to pit on this lap, that is going to be a sizable penalty for the Porsche driver. So there we go, he gets himself around, or almost gets himself around Busso. Do not get distracted by the fight, Florent. You need to come into the pit lane. Please come into the pit. Good, Florent. There we go. Okay, panic over. Balash Veyer and Roland Schricker super close together on track. We head into the hairpin, nose to tail. We come back down the hill. This will be, I think, well, there'll be 2 more rounds of the circuit for these two drivers after this one, so still plenty of battling to be done here, but Roland Schricker muscling his way around the outside, a bold move in a tricky corner to make your way around on, leaving plenty of space there, but Balazs here being understandably cautious of that inside curb. The Kyalami Salami is, well, it is a savage curb that can send you airborne. And Roland Schricker now up into P17. Not a position he would have expected to have been fighting for at the start of this race. But, well, a racer is a racer, and they will battle for whatever position you put in front of them. As he now goes on the attack against Gregor Michalak. Balazs here will be looking to try and follow him through as well. actually, we'll move away from this battle for a while, as we've got fighting between Pirello and Antrax. Actually, it's Fredriksson still struggling for grip out there. So I think that was, in the end, quite a straightforward move. And then Antrax getting the run on him on the exit. Fredriksson's car really not seeming happy at this stage in the race. And as the timer hit 0 on this final round of the Go Setups VIP trophy at pitskill.io, Sergi Sebastian has just 3, now 2 corners left to navigate to take 2 wins in a row and close out the championship in style. Didn't take part in enough races to really be challenging for the championship itself, but 2 wins in a row, taking the perfect season away from Manuel Benz. And that in itself is a small enough victory, as Manuel Benz crosses the line and has to settle for P2 in this final round. Would not be the way he wanted to see out the championship, but congratulations to Sergi on a dominant display today. Led from lights to flag and looked under pressure at times, but in the end, Benz didn't really have a chance to have a go at him at all. Taking the bottom step of the podium will be Cam Carter, who's followed closely behind by Sam McCarthy. In his debut to the VIP trophy, Johan Leff finishing in P5. Congratulations to Johan. Busso in P6, followed by Jeremy Thomas in P7. Thomas Pirello took P8 with Manuel Antrax in P9. Felix Kotick finished the race in P10 with Fredriksson P11. And around the final corner now is Kenny Kroes, and he is being fought for P12 by Luke Tranmer. Will it be a photo finish? I think Kenny Kroes takes the position P12 ahead of Luke Tranmer, just taking P13. As Tadeusz Szynski crosses the line P14, will lose out on P2 in the championship to Cam Carter. Roland Schricker comes to cross the line in P15 with Rainer Scholl in P15. Lashfay here P16. And with the 30-second penalty going the way of Luke Tranmer, that sees him finish P17. Well, what a finale we had there, ladies and gentlemen. What a battle. Absolutely massive congratulations to Sergi Sebastian, winning 2 rounds in a row and really taking the battle to Manuel Benz. And, well, sending us into the off-season with a lot to look forward to for Season 20 of the Pitskill.io Go Setups VIP Trophy, where I hope both drivers will stay the course and, well, give us a great show from start to end. Because if we'd had battles like that all season, I think we might have had a bit more of an open championship. And as we wait for our championship standings to be finally calculated, I will start our race highlights. And when those championship standings are available, they will, of course, pop up on your screen. And we can, well, congratulate those drivers who have done well this season. Well, and thank you very much to Pitskill.io for hosting this event and this whole championship. And thank you very much to our series sponsor, Go Setups. Do head on over to Go Setups if you need any ACC setups for any leagues or daily races that you might be participating in. I've used them myself. Very competitive races, very competitive setups, and quite drivable as well. Yeah, very nice setups indeed. And thank you to our drivers, of course, and our championship winner, Manuel Benz, who took the championship with a number of rounds remaining and was dominant for most of the season until the resurgent return of Sergi Sebastian. Thank you very much as well to you, our viewers. And if you have enjoyed the racing here, again, please do do all the good stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe to this stream, and the VODs for all of the season can be found down below. And do also get yourself signed up at pitskill.io using the link down below, or just in general, come join our lovely community of sim racers. There's room for anyone of any ability, and a very welcoming community over on their Discord, so please do check that out. But I will stop waffling for now, and I will let you enjoy the highlights from tonight's race. And until next season, have a very lovely rest of your day. Goodbye.